Hey YouTube, ChannelMST here, bringing you a deck profile. We're going to be going over Dino Rabbit. This build got top 16 at YCS Chicago this past weekend. This deck was piloted by Anthony Pascriello. He went undefeated in the Swiss rounds, and then obviously went undefeated in top 64, top 32, and then lost in the top 6. So moving on to the deck list, we have the Rabbit engine, 3 Rescue Rabbit, 3 Kaba, 3 Saber. Then we have the Tour Guide engine, 3 Tour Guide, 1 Sengen. And then we got the Hand Traps, 3 Veiler, and 1 Gores. And then for the other monsters, we got 2 Thunder Kings and 1 BLS. Moving on to the spells, we got 1 Book, 1 Dark Hole, 2 Lance, 1 Heavy, 1 Mind, 1 Reborn, and 3 MST, and then 1 Pot of Avarice. Moving on to the traps, we have 2 BTH, 2 Compulse, 3 Solemn, and 2 Torrents. Moving on to the side deck, we got 2 Electric Virus, 2 Gemini Imps, 3 Kinetic Soldier, 3 Max C, 2 Prohibition, 1 Mirror, and 2 Shadow Imprisoning. Moving on to the extra deck, we got 1 Catastor, 1 Armory Arm, 1 Stardard, 2 Dalka, 2 Laggia, 1 Levier, 1 Leviathan, 1 Number 30, 1 Utopia, 1 Utopia Ray, 1 Tempo, and 1 Zen Mains. And the last card I wasn't able to hear that well. I'm assuming it's probably a rank 4. Moving on to the deck discussion, we have a lot of rank 3s here, and then some rank 4s, basically the staples. The only new one here is the Tempo. Basically this card kills off things like Acid Golem and Zen Mains and Utopia, and is also good against Laggia. If this card is already face up, it pretty much stops them from bringing out Laggia, because Laggia requires that it removes 2 materials, so if you remove one of the materials from Laggia, you stop their effect. And then we have the Synchros, Stardust, Armory Arm, and Catastor. Moving on to the side deck, we have 2 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors for Dark Worlds and mainly Insectors. And then we have 1 Mirror Force for monster removal, Prohibition for some anti-meta decks, some road decks, and some of the meta decks that focus on using only a few key cards. Then we have 3 Max C for wind-ups and other road decks special summon a lot. 3 Kinetic Soldier for 6 Samurai and Hero Beat. 2 Gemini Amps for Dark World, and Electric Virus for Dragons and possibly a Machine matchup. Moving on to the main deck, the traps are pretty standard here, 2 Torrents, 3 Solemn. 2 BTH now because of the removal, because of them removing the exception in priority, and so this works on Soldier, Hunter, Zen Mighty, Levier, so forth. Same for the Compulse. It works on Levier, Zen Mighty, as well as Synchros, Infusions, and other stuff. Also, what was talked about was that the player piloting the deck talked about how if he used Rescue Rabbit, he could go Rescue Rabbit, they go Veiler, and then he could just set Compulse and then pass turn, and then on their turn they'd probably MST or heavy it so that they don't play into warning or bottomless or something. So they'd probably MST or heavy it, and you just chain it and return your rabbit. And what ends up happening is they lost their Veiler and they lost their MST or whatever they used to destroy this, and all you lost was your Compulse and a turn. But then in return you get card advantage that way, so it works really well that way. And also, yeah, it's good for tempo loss against the opponents and stuff like that. Moving on to the spells, we have 1 Pot of Avarice and 3 MST and all this stuff. This is pretty much standard. 2 Lance, 3 MST. The only thing he's not running is Smashing Ground at 1. However, he's kind of replaced that with the 2 Compulse. So overall, so overall really consistent trap lineup and spell lineup. Moving on to the monsters, obvious Tour Guide engine, Rabbit engine, 3 Veilers because it's gotten a little bit better with the exception and priority being removed. And then the other monsters, we have 2 Thunder King Ryo and 1 BLS. Very good cards if you're going to run anything else besides the Rabbit strategy. Very good because Thunder King hurts windups and hurts the mirror, as well as hurting dragons now. So this card has gotten a lot better because of the addition of dragons. And it also provides another light target for BLS, one of the best cards in the game. And that'll do it for the deck profile. ChannelMST signing off.